He thought he was being strategic by waiting for the final payout. He thought he was outsmarting the volatility of the market. He eventually learned that in the world of high-stakes careers, the exit door doesn't stay open forever. Sometimes it slams shut exactly 365 days before you are ready to leave. In recruitment, we have a term for this. We call it the peak trap. It is the moment when your market value, your industry's health, and your personal leverage all reach a perfect alignment. It is the absolute maximum of your professional power. But most people don't see the peak while they are standing on it. They think the mountain keeps going up. They think the sunshine will last another year. It was early 2021. He was 42 years old. He was a senior engineering manager at a high-growth fintech startup. He had been there for 4 years. He had built the core infrastructure. He was earning $280,000. He had equity that was valued on paper at nearly $3 million. The market was on fire. Every week he received messages from headhunters. They weren't just offering jobs, they were offering life-changing wealth. One specific offer came from a Tier 1 tech giant. The total compensation package was $500,000 a year. It included a massive signing bonus. It included liquid stock. It was a sure thing. He sat in his home office and looked at the offer. He looked at his current vesting schedule. He had 1 year left to hit his cliff. If he stayed 12 more months, he would vest the final 40% of his startup shares. On paper, that was another $1 million. He did the math. He told his wife, "If I stay 1 more year, we are set forever. We hit the final vest. The company might go public. We could walk away with $5 million. The big tech offer will still be there in 12 months. They always need people like me." He chose to stay. He turned down the $500,000 offer. He chose the 1 more year strategy. He felt disciplined. He felt like a shark. He stayed because he wanted to squeeze every last drop of value out of his current seat. Let's look at the price of that extra year. For the first 6 months, it looked like he was right. The startup raised another round at an even higher valuation. His paper wealth grew to $4 million. He spent his evenings looking at real estate in the mountains. He felt like a genius. He felt untouchable. But the world outside was already beginning to tilt. By early 2022, the wind changed. Interest rates started to climb. The free money era of Silicon Valley was ending. The venture capital spigot was being turned off. Growth at all costs was replaced by path to profitability. His startup, which had been burning $50 million a year, suddenly went into crisis mode. The IPO plans were shelved. The valuation was slashed by 60% in an internal down round. His $4 million in equity became $1.5 million overnight. Then came the layoffs. In the first wave, they cut the junior staff. He stayed. He was essential. But the environment changed. The fun was gone, the perks disappeared, the stress became a permanent resident in his house. He was working 14-hour days just to keep the platform from collapsing under the weight of a reduced team. He reached out to the headhunter from the Tier 1 tech giant. He said he was ready to talk now. The response was a cold shower. "I'm sorry," the recruiter said. "We have a total hiring freeze. We are actually preparing for our own layoffs. The $500,000 roles are gone. We aren't even backfilling." He realized with a sinking feeling that he had missed the window. He had stood at the peak in 2021 and decided to wait for a higher peak that didn't exist. By late 2022, the startup finally folded. They were acquired in a fire sale by a legacy bank. His equity, the $4 million he had stayed for, was wiped out. The payout he had waited for was zero. He received a small severance package and a thank you for his service. He entered the job market in early 2023, but he wasn't entering the market alone. He was entering the market with 50,000 other laid-off engineers. The leverage was gone. The premium for his experience had evaporated. Companies were no longer competing for talent. They were choosing from a surplus of it. He eventually took a job. His new salary? $210,000, no signing bonus, no liquid stock. It was $70,000 less than he was making in 2021. It was nearly $300,000 less than the offer he had turned down. He had stayed 1 year too long, and that 1 year had cost him his wealth, his momentum, and his confidence. In recruitment, we call this the decay of opportunity. An offer is not a permanent standing invitation. It is a moment in time. It is a reflection of a specific economic climate. When that climate changes, the offer doesn't just get smaller, it disappears. He thought he was being responsible by seeing his project through. He thought he was being patient, but in a volatile economy, patience is often just a fancy word for indecision. I see this person every month. They are the ones who stayed for the retention bonus that never got paid. They are the ones who stayed for the IPO that never happened. They are the ones who stayed because they were afraid to move when things were good. They don't understand that the best time to leave is when everyone is telling you to stay. The best time to jump is when the market is at its loudest. Once the correction starts, it's too late. You are no longer a top-tier candidate. You are just a displaced worker. We call it the exit cost. Every year you stay past the peak, your market value doesn't just plateau, it rots. You become too senior for the available roles. You become too expensive for the new budgets. You become a relic of a previous era. He is now 45. He works at the legacy bank. He hates the culture. He hates the slow pace. He spends his days maintaining the systems he used to build in a weekend. He is earning less than he did 5 years ago. The compounding effect of that 1 year is staggering. If he had taken the $500,000 offer in 2021, he would have banked $1 million in cash by now. He would have been inside a stable giant before the layoff started. He would have had a safe seat during the storm. Instead, he is starting over. He is competing with 30-year-olds who are willing to work for half his price. The recruiter's perspective is this: your career is a series of windows. Some windows are wide open, some are cracked, some are painted shut. Your job is to recognize when the largest window is open and jump through it, even if you haven't finished your lunch. He thought he was being smart. He thought he was playing the long game. But the long game only works if the board doesn't change. And the board always changes. He stayed for $1 million that didn't exist. He lost $1 million that did. Fear of leaving money on the table is the most expensive fear in the world. Because while you are staring at the table, the house is burning down behind you. Every decision has a cost. Some we pay in the regret of a what if. Others we pay in the cold reality of a bank balance that stopped growing. He chose the 1 more year path, and it was the most expensive year of his life. The lesson is simple. When the market offers you a life-changing exit, take it. Don't worry about the final vest. Don't worry about the 1 more bonus. A bird in the hand is worth 10 in a startup that's burning cash. He knows that now. He watches the mountains from his apartment. He realized he will probably never own that lake house. Success is about timing, and timing is about knowing when to say enough. He didn't know when to say enough. He wanted more. He ended up with much less. Don't wait for the market to tell you it's time to leave. By then, the market has already moved on. Jump while you still have the leverage, or stay long enough to watch your value become a memory. He stayed, he lost. What is your 1 more year costing you?